Good morning, everybody. Finally back making a video. I think the last video I uploaded was back in November. End of November, I think it was. That time I was telling you about making videos for our youth, and trying to interview people about different types of careers there are out in the world. But today I want to talk about how our lives have changed because of the COVID-19 virus. It's affecting everybody in the world, not just in the United States, but our world, the reservation. I know we have like the third highest per capita of positive cases in the country, and I think it was behind LA and New York, I believe, were the highest to test positive on the reservation. As of Monday, today's Wednesday, I just got off work, so my days are jacked up. I work night shift, so it kind of jacks up my days. But on Monday, I got a update from our boss saying that there was 359 cases here in the Chinle area. I'm not sure if that's all the clinics that are included, which there are maybe two other clinics that are included, which is Saley and Pinyon. But being an EMT is stressful at this time. Well, for me, I can speak for myself. I'm not really before this happened, I was stressed about my job, everything that came with it I could handle. But this virus here is something different. It doesn't really stress me out. If I were to get it, it would be knowing that I passed it on from me to my family members. It's hard to be Navajo. We're all a tight bunch of people. When we say family, that includes everybody from cousins, uncles, aunts, nieces, in-laws. When we have a gathering, like a birthday celebration or any kind of ceremony or anything like that, everybody shows up, brings food, they all celebrate. We all live together on a piece of land. Like for instance, my aunt lives 25 yards behind me. My uncle lives about 100 yards to my left. Another aunt lives about another 100 yards to my right. Sister lives right next door. Another aunt lives about 200 yards behind us. We all still visit each other, even though we're not supposed to. I try to keep my distance, knowing that I'm an EMT, and we do deal with COVID patients lately, and it's been starting to become a normal thing. It's quite stressful. I'm only worried for my family. With me, eventually I know I'll get it sometime. I try to take care of myself when I go to work. Try to keep my hands clean, try not to have much contact with other people. We have a small office and it's hard to keep our distance. Our office is probably, I say, about 15 feet by 12 feet, something like that. I know a day shift right now, they have about 5 or 6 people working. And a night shift, there's 3 of us. Last night there were 3 of us. There'll be times when we're having shift change and there'll be about 7 or 8 of us there at one time. So it's hard, going through that. And at the same time, we try to wear our masks at all times. Now it's required that if we go into the ER, we have to wear a mask. To our healthcare workers, keep doing your jobs. I know it's hard, it's stressful. You never know what's going to happen. I say that all the time, with just life. You never know what's going to happen. But we have a job to do. We gotta keep doing it to the best of our abilities. Hopefully this virus will, slow down. They find something to deal with it. Tylenol now is what they're taking, but there's no cure for it. There's no cure for the virus. There's nothing out there. It's funny, how we can wash our hands and sanitize everything. That kills it, but we put it in our body and there's nothing we can do about it except for just wait it out, take Tylenol. For us as EMTs, we're not really protected as much as people in the hospital setting. I know for me, I have gowns that were given to me that were way too small. They'll come apart in the back. Just got an N95 mask and goggles. That's it. Other things on my clothing is still exposed. I have nothing, down to my feet for me to wear. I wear a size 13 shoe, and I wear my boots. It's going to be like a size 14 or 15 that I have to put on, those booties. I'm 6 feet tall, so those gowns only go down to maybe my thigh. I know up on top my gown only goes up to about right here, and my whole neck is exposed. I got my mask on, so my cheeks are exposed. We don't have no caps, so it's only a matter of time if one of us gets it, and it's not going to surprise me. The frustrating thing is, people who have a choice not to have a job in the healthcare industry. They're out doing their normal duties and stuff, going to the store, going to gas stations, visiting people. Some people, they don't wear their masks, and it's frustrating, being in the healthcare industry and trying to deal with these patients. It's frustrating to hear that people, they think it's nothing. They think that nothing's going to happen to them. They think they're invincible to this, but it's going to get harder. I know it will. I know, like, a couple of my in-laws, we have a lockdown curfew on weekends, 57 hours, and my in-laws choose to go to like these other towns to just hang out. They can't stay home. It's frustrating. And where they live at, there's there's so many little kids that live there. They have 2 kids of their own that are, one in high school and one in junior high. 2 elementary school age kids that live there, and there's a family member that just had a newborn baby, and they still play Russian roulette and go out of town and, do their own thing. And it's frustrating. And they do work for IHS, and they know what kind of, sickness this will bring back to the family. And it's frustrating. I know first responders have been affected. My cousin who works for Kayenta Police Department, I know he said when this first broke out in Chichimito, there was 8 officers that were exposed. They all had to get tested. They were all off for like 14 days. And that was the first wave of the virus coming. I know it's hit Chinle Police Department because a few of our officers are out. They've been out with the symptoms, and they can't be at work. And they're already stressed out as it is. And the guys that are working now, the officers that are working now, it's tough on them. And at the same time, my grandma passed away from it 2 weeks ago. You don't understand how fast this can kill our elderly people. My grandma contracted it, was in the hospital for 4 days, and she was gone. They had her funeral, and the hard thing is that she passed away in the hospital alone. No family around. Last time anybody had contact with her was the week before, about 5 days before she passed away. My aunt and her kids came over to check on her, and the next day she wasn't feeling good. Went to Shiprock Hospital, got admitted. She was allowed to have any visitors. Phone calls was the only thing she could get. She died in the hospital alone. I know the night before, two of my aunts spoke to her through video chat. Funeral arrangements were made. She was buried a few days later. She was placed in a body bag into the coffin. They couldn't even dress her up, how they usually do. People would say, oh, we're going to dress this person up the way they used to dress up just to make them look nice. My aunts were planning everything for my grandma that way, but they couldn't do it. The closest they got to her was standing outside a gate or a fence and watch her get buried. They couldn't get near the casket. The only ones that could handle the casket and my grandma were the people that worked at the mortuary. It's sad, that these people die alone, no family around. And this video chat is the closest they could probably get to them. Some probably don't even get that. So with that, please stay safe. Disinfect everything if you can. Wash your hands. If you get off work, you go out in the public, wear your mask. If you could find gloves, wear them. But take them off, put them in the trash. Don't leave them in the parking lot like I see sometimes. You're just passing that virus around because it stays on the gloves. If you wear rubber gloves, you go to the restroom, don't try to, sanitize it or wash it. Wash your hands. Take it off, throw it in the trash can. There's a certain way to take off these these gloves, and to put your hand on everything. Stay home when there's a curfew. Try to get home for the curfew. I know our stores close at like 8 o'clock here. This past weekend, our grocery store closed at 12 p.m., 12 in the afternoon. With that, like, I'm thankful for all these grocery store workers, the convenience store workers, people that deliver to the grocery stores. I've always had that appreciation for our convenience store workers, because late at night we'll come into the store, being on night shift, get something to drink, get something to eat. Not much available on the reservation, but these guys, they're still there, they're still working. The same thing. I always tell them thank you. I've always said that because they work the same shifts we do. They're in the stores alone. You never know what could happen to them too. Sorry to say, but I just have that appreciation for them. Same with UPS, post office, FedEx, everybody that keeps our country going. Thank you. And with that, I'm going to end it. Stay safe. Think about others. And one thing that I hate the most is, I don't know why people start freaking out about the tissue thing. It doesn't affect your poop, or as many times as you poop. If you eat the bad things, like you get diarrhea, that's probably the only time you'll get it, but there's still something for that. So with that, stay safe, stay clean. Thank you.